I had to tell myself, and after watching the interview, and which is why I love this interview so much, is because I had to give myself the permission to, lean into the joy.
Let's raid.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another chapter of Reading and Raging with Charles C. Patton. I am Charles C. Patton, and thank you so much for tuning in today. You know, I can't really believe that I'm saying this because I hear it from so many other content creators all the time, but I really did miss being in front of the camera and microphone talking with all of you. But it was absolutely necessary because our website is now live. Simply type in Charles C. Patton in your browser and you will have access to all of our features, videos, reading lists, and all services provided. We do everything from web design, tutoring, freelance writing, modeling, and so much more, including creative direction, with my new production company, JC3 Studios, co-founded by my partner, Jeremiah McFadden, and myself. And of course, everything you need to know about RRC, including our new merch, which is dropping very, very soon. Now, let's get into this chapter. So this conversation is one that I had with Shabazz. Shabazz is an up-and-coming creative, artist, blogger, designer, the whole gamut. They also do spiritual readings for all of the astrological signs, so it was absolutely fitting for us to partake in this conversation about stepping into your authentic truth. We center our conversation on an interview done by Tamron with Billy Porter. If you have not watched this interview, the link is in the description below, so if you want to take a look at the interview, you can do so after this video, or you can pause this and head on over there to watch it real quick to get all of the context necessary for this conversation. The word for this conversation is veracity, the habitual observance and conformity to truth and truth-telling. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy the conversation. So thank you so much, Shabazz, for agreeing to be on this podcast, be on this platform with me. I am such a huge fan of yours. We've worked together several times. You've created some amazing pieces for me and for yourself, for other people. And I'm just so lucky to have you as a friend and to have you here with me today. So thank you so much. So we decided to base the conversation off of the interview that Billy Porter and Tamron Hall did on her show. And can you give just a little insight on what the conversation was about there and why you wanted to use that as the catalyst for our conversation today?
Well, as we all know, well, some of us, Billy Porter is a black actor and musician here in America, and I discovered him through Pose, through the show Pose. Really, really good show. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it now. But the bread and butter of the conversation was basically living your truth and knowing what trust is. And a lot of people like to think that being blunt is a way of how we should communicate, but I think it's honestly about being honest. Mm-hmm. And that whole idea of being honest and living your truth really hit me. When it hit me, it was like at a time, because I feel like the theme of that conversation is sort of the theme of my quarantine, where it's like I'm constantly trying to figure out my truth. How can I trust myself more? How can I be honest with others and my family and me? And when you're honest with yourself, it's like this weight that's being lifted off you, because we feel like sometimes we have to live this lie. And I feel like as a Black queer artist, sometimes growing up, it's like we have to put on this mask because the world has stopped us from being our true selves. Like, we see what's in the media and we see what, everyone else is, and we feel like, oh, that's what I have to be because that sells. Right. Oh, that's how many people are watching, so I have to be this. Like, no, like I don't live for the majority. I live for a small group of people, whether that is the whole world or it's a good small demographic of people that get me, that understand me, and I feel like there's only so much few people that want to live in their truth. And, when he spoke about that, being an actor and, you know, trying to fulfill this masculine role as an actor, you know, he wasn't getting many gigs. You know, they told him that he was too feminine and just too flamboyant and just too, you know, into his feminine side, and that's why he wasn't getting as many bookings. And I'm just like, no, like still live yourself, and that's something that he spoke out about with Tamron Hall is being yourself regardless. Like the opportunity presented itself with Pose, and it was so crazy to me. It was like if he had continued to beat himself up, you know, be in this negative space, you know, feeling as though there's nothing out there for me, no matter how much I try to fulfill this masculine role in this acting industry, you know, who would have known? Like, who would have known I would have presented with the opportunity? So I know that, you know, my time is coming. I know he felt that his time is coming. And I just advise people to constantly just live their truth, you know, no matter who your truth can be something so different, you know, you're still discovering your truth. No one really knows what your truth is because we feel like we have to live the truth. And I feel like there's no real truth to how someone should live. I feel like
Yeah,
whatever
truth
works
is
for you.
relative.
Yeah, you know, whatever works for you works for you. You know, there's no handbook to this. Like, there's no handbook to how you should live your specific life. You know, you're still discovering it. So I really love Billy Porter. I love the interview and the show he's in Pose is obviously, as you know,
Fantastic. Yeah.
is that. Yeah, it's that.
In watching the in the interview with the two of them, there was this. I know that Tamron Hall said something about.
You know, we talk a lot about the journey, and I tell people all the time, you can look at the end of the book, but what are the pages that it takes to make someone like you?
Yeah.
That spoke to me because people love to praise people for you know where they end up, like where they are now with you know the successes that they have, the visibility that they have, and a lot of times people don't take into account the work that was put into it, the trauma that they experienced trying to get there, the healing that had to go into it or lack thereof. And that made me think about this idea of like trusting your process, trusting the journey onto, you know, the destination rather than focusing primarily on the destination, being okay with and experiencing your journey towards that. How important has that been for you at this point in your life, trusting your process?
Oh, it's a relationship. It's almost like you're in a relationship with yourself. Trusting myself during this whole process has been giving myself breaks, you know, saying no to people that I don't need in my life and, you know, situations that don't serve me anymore. And allowing things to die, you know, as the seasons go, you know, allowing things to just die, you know, allowing it to spark up again, allowing it to come back around if it's meant to be, you know. I feel as though like I said, it's like a relationship with yourself. Like that relationship is still ongoing, it's still beautiful, it's still growing, and it's still prosperous. You know, I feel as though this whole quarantine really has, and even this whole process with being an artist and just being a queer artist, queer Black artist growing up is like no one really has the answers. You know, no one really has the answers to your life. Like I said, like you have to venture out. You have to be open to new things. You have to constantly be trying to test the waters, see what works for you. You know, you don't know what works for you if you never tried it. You know, how you gonna know if you don't like something if you never tried it? And I will say this too. A real good friend told me, he said, I live for the experience. You know, I live for experiencing things and seeing what works and what doesn't. So that's my tea on that.
Was there like a moment that you realized in yourself that maybe you weren't going in the right direction or you weren't experiencing life around you to the fullest extent?
I would say no, because I think everything happens for a reason. And I know that's so cliche to say, but it's very true. I feel like I don't regret anything I've done. You know, I feel like everything that I've done has led me up to this point. And if I'm going to be, I do think that we take detours now. I do think that some of us are living karmic cycles that we don't need to be living. You know, you refuse to learn the lesson. So I need to constantly be trying to learn from what I've been through, you know, not making the same mistakes again, you know, not doing the same stuff again, because a reflection, the person that I'm building inside myself is going to be a reflection of my exterior life, you know. So that comes with being grateful. That comes with waking up every morning, having a good routine for yourself, because some of us can drive ourselves crazy when we don't realize that this is something you need to be learning right now.
So I spent the majority of my life in the masculinity race.
What does that mean?
Trying to be masculine enough to get a gig. It's all about masculinity, and especially for a Black man. If you're not masculine enough, you're dismissed. You can't work, you don't get jobs, you don't get work. It was a real thing.
How have you been able to understand that, and how, and unroot or uproot that that internalized understanding of how you should present in the world?
I feel like with that, it's like you still have to take it day by day. You know, I don't have everything right. I don't have all the answers, but you will find those answers when you claim your life back, when you claim who your soul is, you know, when you claim your life that you want to live, you know, whether that's the control that you want for yourself, because I feel like as a masculine male, I feel like they have to always be in control. Like they have to always be in control over others because they're not in control of themselves. And when you're not in control of yourself, you tend to want to like control others. So it's like when you do stuff like that, it's like you're not really living in your truth. You're living someone else's truth at this point, you know. And that's trauma in itself.
Yeah.
So I feel as though I gotta say I was truly blessed to be able to see the world and really see this world for what it is and determine what I want. So yeah.
How were you able to understand that though? Like how, because I know like a lot of people might be thinking like, okay, well, you know, this sounds all good, but how were you able to really understand like what people were trying to put onto you, and then deciding like, no, I'm going to be who I am and I'm going to fall into myself?
By listening to my body, I realized that I wasn't happy. I realized that, okay, I'm gonna listen to this person and see what they might have. And when the outcome of that, I wasn't happy. Like, so whatever wasn't making me happy, I didn't do it. You know, I didn't do it. So I'm not doing things because this person said it or they thought it was a good idea. You know, I'm open to hearing what people have to say, and I'm open to, you know, listen to people, because I don't think everyone is wrong. I think there are some people that are right. Like some things are just right, but you have to listen. And I think being spiritual too at a young age really allowed me to, really guided me through life. Like it was like I feel like I really wasn't listening to myself. I feel like I was listening to God, and I was listening to spirit, and I was listening to the universe, and really listening to my spirit guides. And I gotta say, like they helped me get to where I need to go. And without them, without that spiritual connection, without that spiritual life that I have for myself, I don't think I would be here.
Well, you know, we had been working for the first season pretty much, and he called me to lunch, and he essentially called me out because he said, okay, look, I want you to lean into the joy. And I took a breath, and he's like, I know what it's been. I know how hard you've worked. I know it's hard to trust where you are now. But I need you to know that you're here. I got your back.
That's all people are looking for, really. Like that's all they're looking for, is someone or some entity to be there and tell them that it's okay. It's okay for you to be your true self. It's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to lean into joy. It's okay for all of these things. Was there someone in your life that told you or that allowed for that pathway to happen for you?
No. I don't think there's anybody that's ever given me that right away. I feel like I had discovered that for myself, and this is just my story, you know.
Yeah.
Could have been like anybody else where it was like a family member or something, but I had to tell myself, and after watching the interview, and which is why I love this interview so much, is because I had to give myself the permission to, you know, lean into the joy. I don't think there's any human that actually, I feel like Ryan Murphy gave him the right of way, which tapped into his soul, which let his soul know you need to lean into the joy. You know, he wouldn't have done it that day. He didn't have to. But I feel like he had to give himself permission to say, okay, maybe I do need to lean into the joy. And you know, when I assessed that with myself, it was like, oh wow, like maybe I do need to lean into this. Maybe I do need to give myself a break. Maybe I do need to have fun with this because this is an ongoing journey. You know, it's not like, oh, you need to do like this, you need to do like this, you know, you gotta do it like this way, and you just shelter yourself like this because that's what we grew up from. That's our childhood self. And God, what a time to be alive during this time of quarantine and all this mess. It's like we're really, and as a Black community, we are really healing from a lot of stuff. And I think that we are taking it the hardest because we have been sheltered. We have been told what to do. We have been told we have to perm our hair. We have to cut all our hair off. We have to live in society like this. We can't grow our hair long. We can't paint our nails black. We can't do nothing with ourselves because this is what works. Like, but why? Like, why do I have to like this just because I need to, you know, get a job or something? Like, you know, but what about me? What about my emotional fulfillment? What makes me happy? What makes me joyous? You know, what can I do to fulfill joy on a daily basis? Hell, like you have to be able to say, yo, this is the life that I want, and this is what I want. Because it all starts with you. I don't care what anybody says to you. It doesn't matter how many people tell you you're amazing, you're talented, you're good. It doesn't work until you actually believe that you are. It doesn't actually hit until you actually say, wow, maybe I am talented. Because we got ego up. We're trying to protect ourselves. We're trying to do this, we're trying to do that, but you have to want it first.
I love that you said that because I feel like so many people are waiting for permission, are waiting for someone or something to tell them, no, it's okay. Like, go do what you want to do, be who you want to be. And a lot of times we don't take the time to just look like we give ourselves permission. It even touched on this idea of like gatekeepers and this understanding of like having people in positions of power to give you certain things and certain permissions and opportunities and all of these things. How does that look? What's your take on the idea of gatekeepers, and you can only go into, you know, your full self if someone allows for that to happen?
With my spirituality, I feel as though we're vessels. I feel like we're all vessels of messages, opportunities. You know, you can stop your opportunity just from being in a certain state of mind. But I believe in the 80-20 rule. I believe in 20% work and 80% spirit. You know, you got to do your part in order for spirit to activate things for you. So if you're doing your part, spirit's always going to come back for it and do tenfold and do much more. You know, so if you're not putting in the work, if you're not, you know, doing what you need to do to get your mind right, you know, preparing yourself for the blessings that are coming your way, instead of saying, woe is me, oh my gosh, why is happening to me? Instead of saying, it's mine, I'm claiming it now, you know, that's preparing yourself for what you want. I believe that we're vessels, like I said. So this person is a vessel for you to start the life you want, because nothing you do is by yourself. You know, you don't do everything by yourself. There's nobody that's like self-made. I don't think anybody's really self-made into anything, you know. The place you're from, you know, the people that have guided you, you know, the opportunities that present themselves to you, that wasn't all you. You know, there are people, there are spirits, there were things behind closed doors that were getting you to where you want to go. So I believe in divine timing. I believe in taking things slow, because we tend to think that our efforts and our fast pace is going to make it unfold faster, when that's not the case.
I agree. And even Billy Porter said,
you know, you really do just need one person in a position of power, you know, to open the door. I wasn't asking anybody to give me anything for free. I came with all of the tools, all of the talent, the entire skill set, and now the world gets to see that part of it. You know, and it's about opportunity. You know, if you don't have the opportunity, you can't do it.
Yeah, if you're not let in the room.
If you're not let in the room,
That speaks to, like, my mom always said, like, faith without works is dead. And like this
that always replays in my head. Like,
right, this idea of like things are just going to come to you if you know, if you just sit and don't, you know, actualize that for yourself, or if you don't put in the work to actually, you know, bring those things or manifest those things into this reality.
You know, the moment that I decided to love myself enough, you know, you have to love yourself enough. Maya Angelou says we teach people how to treat us. So I had to teach the world how to treat me. But I needed to treat myself right first. You know, I needed to figure out how to love myself right first in the face of abject rejection. You know, I've been saying for years, this conversation is not about acceptance, and it's not about tolerance. Because those two things require something on the outside to give me validation.
How has this idea of not yearning for someone else's acceptance or tolerance of you, how's that shaped your understanding of yourself?
Acceptance and expecting acceptance, I had to stop. Like, I think I was like, I think I had to be like maybe 13 years old, where I was like, I want to do things my way. Like, I want to do things my way. That's when independence became a thing for me. It was like, okay, I want to wear what I want. I want to eat what I want.
That's early. That's like really young for a lot of people. Don't even come into that like at the age we are now. So that's
I don't know. Like, I honestly have no idea what sparked these things. I think it may have been the people. I think it might have been like the fact that I was the only child. You know, I didn't have any siblings growing up. I didn't have anybody to like do bad things with. It was like I was always with myself. So when you're always with yourself,
you gotta figure something
you're
out.
Thinking about a lot. You know, you're in solitude. It just helped me love myself better. I think that there was a point where I wanted people to accept me, where I wanted people to see me and really understand, you know, Shabazz and who he is, and, you know, where he comes from. I didn't even know myself back. So it was like, how can I expect people to accept me? And I don't even know myself that well. You know, I just honestly, I expected people to talk to me, like get to know me, you know, have conversations with me, because I'm still learning. You know, I can say that now looking back, but back then I didn't realize that I just wanted someone to talk to. I didn't realize that, oh, I just wanted someone to have a deep conversation with. You know, I didn't realize that I just wanted to just chit chat with somebody, because I'm innocent. Like, I'm not even, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I feel this way, but I know that I'm not harming anyone. I know that I'm not bringing harm to anybody's life. I know that I'm not making anyone sad. You know, I was always that person to make someone smile, make someone laugh. So if it wasn't that, then it was like, whatever, like, I'm just minding my business. And still to this day, I'm healing. Like, I'm healing my image. I'm healing how I see myself. I'm accepting myself and that I look like this, and that, oh, I have black skin, or, oh, I'm this big, or, oh, I'm this skinny, or, you know, it's like accepting yourself is a part of the journey, and you can't do that when you're expecting validation from everybody, because the world's narrative is not your narrative. You know, they want to live a certain way because that's how they feel. But when are you to accept? When are you going to take control and really start asking yourself, what do you want to do? You know, what do you want to live like? And that's all I ever wanted people to talk to me about. Was like, Shabazz, what do you want to do today? Or like, what do you want to do? No one asked those questions. It was like, you're gonna go here, you're gonna do this, and you have to do it this way. I'm making it my goal to give that power to people, because I feel like first to ask themselves, what do you want to do? You know, what religion do you want to study, or what spiritual life is like for you? So
I feel that. And especially when you were talking about like, this is the body that I'm in, like being kinder to yourself and like, yes, I am this big. Yes, I'm this small. Yes, I look like this. Yes, I look like that. And when I was looking in the mirror like a few days ago or whatever, I can't remember when exactly it was, but I was just, looking at my full self where I, just didn't like where everything was going and I'm getting older and things are changing. I'm not, as active as I used to be. So things are, I'm seeing things that I never really saw before. And I just had to sit there and be like, nah, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, what you tripping for? Like, this is
Right.
perfectly fine. Like,
Right.
you
Like,
should
you're
be
still young.
happy with, right. I'm 22 years old. Like, why are you going in on yourself about all of these things when they really don't matter? They
Right.
really don't matter. Really, it doesn't. If you like, no, I don't look like how I looked when I was 10 or when I was 15 or even 18 years old. I'm not going to look the same when I'm 30 or 50 or whatever. And I should enjoy this idea that I'm able to change, that
Right.
I'm able to evolve and to shift, and my body does that with me. My body is telling the story of my life. And
Yes.
why be so upset and not invite that into yourself? Because this is the only thing that I got. Like, I
Yes.
can't switch out of another body, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, of course there's, other things that can happen, but that's just
Yeah.
not, that's not what I'm, willing to
Yeah.
do. And if that is like your prerogative, do what you do to, make
Right.
yourself feel more whole and more yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
for myself, like, this is what I got, so why be so hard on yourself? Why be
Yes.
all of these things that doesn't really serve you?
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, like, I've struggled with my weight or my idea of what I look like as far as weight is concerned, because I was an athlete growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and there was always this emphasis on, you need to be, toner, you need to look, more fit, you need to put more weight on yourself, because I was always skinny, like as a
Mm-hmm.
child and growing up. But that was just my natural body type. And I never thought that I looked good, or that my how I presented was enough
Mm-hmm.
for anyone, because I was so skinny,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always trying to gain weight. I was always like, with the protein powders, with the supplements,
Mm-hmm.
with the meal schedules, with all of these things to be more fit, to be better, to be, because I attributed being better with being having muscles, having all of
Yeah.
these things, and even being addicted to the gym and what that looked like. So
Right.
now
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta say,
really,
I was the whole opposite. Like, it was like,
wow. Okay.
yeah, like I wanted to really lose weight, and I think, I don't know, like I don't know. I feel like I may have suffered from like this this idea of, I don't know what it's called, but it's like when you look in the mirror, you feel like you're like you're too big and you want to lose weight, but you're really
Yeah,
not that big.
that's
Um,
body dysphoria.
yeah, like body spray. I really gotta say, like, I don't know where that came from, because
Yeah.
none of my friends were like skinny. Like, none of my friends were
Mm,
like skinny. They were always, a little bigger, a little on the heavy side. And
yeah.
I never shamed anybody for being who they were, what
Right.
size they were. It was just me. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable in my body. And like you said, like, I didn't feel presentable. I didn't feel like it was like attractive. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, like, now at the body that I'm in now, I've never been happier. Like, I
Mm,
gotta say, if I was to get a little bigger, I wouldn't be mad. But if I was to get a little skinnier, I'd probably be like, okay, something needs a little change. Like, I need to change
yeah.
a little. But now I'm learning, am I feeling okay? Like, am I good? Like, do I
Right.
feel great? And I feel fine. Like, I feel
Yeah.
really good. And I feel like, no matter what size you are, whatever number you are you feeling good?
Right.
Feeling good up there, because that's
Right.
going to determine everything.
Right.
What are you eating at the same time as well, but that's a whole nother topic. But
Right. Yeah.
I feel as though people people should really be easy on themselves, you know, and not allow social media. And you don't even have to have social media to have this construct about like what your body should look like. You can really be, it could be in the work environment, you know, 'cause that person that's like, that got a promotion, you're like, dang, like they got a nice body, or they like, you know, they got like their skin tan or whatever, and I need to go probably do that so I can get that promotion. It's like, what? No, like,
yeah. And
maybe
I feel like
it wasn't for you, you know?
just like you said, like, how do I feel? How do I feel right now? Like, not, and that's what I had to realize too. And I think this quarantine really did that for me, because I was always so focused on what is the image that my coaches, that my teammates, that my family members or whoever were trying to put onto me. What weight can I be so that when I see my family members, that they won't comment on my weight in a negative way? Like, what does that look like? And that really was driving me crazy. That was driving me insane. And then I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? Do I feel okay? Am I like inside? Like, nothing, don't even think about what's on the outside. Like, how do I feel right now in this moment? Do I feel good? Do I feel a little icky? Do I feel, you know, light? Like, how do I feel? And once I started like eating in that space of things, and when I started like really focusing on how I felt internally, the outside started looking like, hey, you look pretty good.
Yeah.
And you know, that's
Yeah, so
we went on a tangent, like we're going on a tangent with that,
you
but
know,
that's
but
some good stuff.
for real, like you have a really good point, and I really, and I will touch on this too. I don't let looks determine, you know, is this person good for me, you know, but how are you, you know, how are you upstairs, you know? So I don't think that also goes with my truth and just being in my truth, you know, and being easy on myself, because I had to understand that, dang, I don't look like these people, and I don't need to look like these people, but I need to make sure that my mental is good. I need to make sure that my mental health is good. I need to make sure that my physical, my spiritual health is good. I need to make sure that I'm feeling great, because if I'm feeling great, then who cares what I look like?
Right.
You know, so
Absolutely. And that's why I love Lizzo so much. But I digress.
yeah.
What's your definition of God?
Yes. Oh, my definition of God? My definition of God would have to be you. I feel like you are your own God. I feel like you are your God on the inside. I feel like you are a reflection of what you feel like God is. Like, you know, people say, I see the God in you. Like, I know you do. Like, because you see something that you like. You know, you see something you admire. You see something that you look up to. So, yeah, that's my definition of God.
What's one thing you wished you knew about yourself sooner? Or one thing you wish you learned about yourself sooner?
Honestly, I feel like I needed to know what I need to know about myself in the moment. Like, I don't think if I knew something more about myself, I would have jumped. I would have grew too fast. You know, I feel like I would have grown too fast for my pace. So I'm actually grateful for the things I know and still are discovering about myself. So it's a never-ending journey.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the difference between living and existing?
Living and existing, living for me is like you tapping into your adventure, and existing is just something you're just accepting the moment. Like, and I don't think there's nothing negative or positive about either one. I just think that you need to be doing both. Like, you need to be grounded. I feel like existing is more so from a grounded standpoint, but living is more so like this off the world experience. Like, you're actually living your life. Like, you know, you're not so stuck up and you have to be, you know, in the house 24/7, because I feel like when you're existing, you're just there, you know, you're observing. And I think having that balance of the two really is important.
Yeah. What's one thing you wish the world had more of?
I wish the world had more art. like more art for us to get access to. I wish we had more ways of travel and being able to go here in like a matter of seconds. Or I wish we just had more freedom to explore without the restraints, without all the consequences of getting to know something. Like, it's like there's always this caution with, there's always like the fine print, and it's like, who wants to read the fine print when I'm just exploring this? Like, just seeing what it is. You know, if I messed up, I messed up, but then I know what to do next time. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Shabazz. This was...
Thank you.
I loved every minute of it.
Yes.
Again, I'm a fan. I'm a friend. I love you. You are such a light, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
You can find Shabazz on all social media platforms. Their information is in the link in the description below. If you like this conversation and want to hear more just like them, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button to get more just like it and to be a part of the RSC family. Remember to look inward, and please always start with forgiveness. Please wear a mask and do your very best to socially distance, especially during this holiday season. Don't forget to check out our website, and I'll see you on the next one. Love always.